Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we are going to discuss about another topic related to Qshell and CL program. Okay, so before we start, let me tell you one thing that these sessions are only specific for the project analysis purpose. So maybe right now you are not facing such things or like you are not encountering those conditions, but maybe in future you will face these things. So better to learn this at the initial stage only, so that when there is a situation where we are supposed to use these things, we can easily do it, right? So what we are going to discuss in today's session, we will see a process through which we can create the outfile for the Qshell command output. Okay, if you remember in previous session, we discussed a way through which we can execute the Qshell command with the help of CL program, right? There we used to perform a demo for the ls command, but that moment or if for that session, like we just discussed only how to execute the command, but we didn't discuss like how to create the out file for the output that we are retrieving from the Qshell command. Okay, so this thing we are going to clear in this session, and also we will understand why it is important, why we are creating out file. We can see simply see the output on the screen, right? Then what is the need to create the out file? So let's discuss this. So before we discuss directly the program, let me show you the Qshell thing first. There I will show you some commands related stuff, and then we will discuss the requirement, and post that we will see the program with their output. So to execute the Qshell screen, you just need to write qsh and then simply hit enter. Once you hit enter, it will show you this screen where you are where you can put all the information which like all the commands which you want to execute for the Qshell. Okay, so if you remember in last session we executed this command which is ls. Once you write ls and hit enter, it lists down all the files and directory present in your system. Okay, so we can see them, right? But let's say if someone asks you to list down everything in a proper manner, so in that case you can simply go and write the command in this way: ls-1. Make sure there is a blank space in between them, otherwise it will give error. So just write ls-1. Once you hit enter, it will show you this list. You can see one by one it is populating each and every file of your system with directories, right? But this is not our requirement, right? We were supposed to create the out file. Right now, let's say if I know the Qshell commands, I know the Qshell scripting, so I can simply write this ls-1 and I can get this list. But suppose there is one person in your team, or maybe from some other profile, he's not a developer and he wants to check out this list. Then how he can do this? So in that case, like mostly a non-technical person can also hit the query like select star from, and then they can fetch the data from the table, right? So that's why this is the requirement where we are supposed to create the out file for the given input provided by the Qshell screen. Okay, so now what we will do, we will try to create this data inside a out file, and then that out file you can simply share with your team members. They can use it for the analysis or whatever the purpose they are looking for. Okay, so I hope the Qshell part is clear, like how we can fetch the list. And why I show you this Qshell thing first, because I want to show you that before executing command in any of the program, make sure that you are writing the correct command. Otherwise what will happen, when you are trying to create a program, it will give again and again error. So better to go and check first the output for your command. Like if I put ls-1 here, then you can see I'm getting the desired output. It means my command is correct. Now I can simply use this command inside my program. So for that, what I will do, I will create this program. Okay, let's see what we have in this program. First and very important thing is variable. Why? Because this command we are going to store it into any variable, and then that variable we will use to execute the command. So for that you can simply write dcl, then press F4. After pressing F4, it will ask you few parameters, where first one is the CL variable name, So I created it with the name of command, and ampersand is initial prefix, like it is important. So that's why I keep it as, like if you're not sure about the basic things about CLLE, then maybe you can check out the playlist for CL, because there we have covered each and everything in a detailed manner. Okay. For now, we are just focusing on the Qshell related stuff. So here I just declare one variable with command name, type is character, storage is auto, and length is 256. At the moment I'm not initializing any value here. I'll do this later. Okay. Then we are deleting the ts output file, if any. What does it mean? As I told you that we are going to create the out file, so we are just making sure that if with this name, this is nothing but a name of file, if with this name there is any existing file, just delete it, because we don't want to replicate the issue, right? Data. So in that case, we are firstly using this command dlt lf file. So you can simply write dlt lf, then press F4. Here you can put the file name along with the library name. You can see ts output and Sharmit one. So what it will do, it will delete the file, but let's say file is not there and we are trying to delete it. So in that case, it will generate this error cpf 2105. We have already covered this error handling part, so I hope you know that how we get this IDs and how to handle mon message. If you have not covered, then you can check the previous session from the playlist. There you will find. And even I'm sharing one link for the book, Sharmit digital course book, which is in the description box. From there you can find a complete list with a proper sequence of sessions, so that you can refer. Okay. So in mon message you will find, in mon message, like you can see, we have set the ID as cpf 2105, and then other thing you can keep it as it is, and then simply hit enter. So what it will do, if there is no file existing with the name of ts output, then it will simply encounter with this error and it will handle that error. Otherwise, we are going to create the new file. So you can see crtpf. For creating a file, you can write crtpf, then press F4. Here you can provide the file name. In my case, I want to create it with name ts output, and library is Sharmit1. Then in record length, if no DDS, you can put 100, because we are going to create the flat file. So other things would be the default one. In some cases, like if you want to change it, any particular thing, you can change, but for now we are just passing 3 parameters here, which is file name, library name, along with the length. Then simply hit enter. Okay. So what it will do, it will create the file with the name ts output in Sharmit1. Then we are supposed to do override. Why? Because if you have covered the previous session, there we discussed how to execute the qsh command, right? So there we were just getting the output. So we don't want that output on the screen. We want it on in any particular file. So for that reason, we are using over dbf. So just write over dbf, press F4. Here you can put your file name, which is std output, standard output. So what it will do, it will transfer your standard output to this file. To file means overriding to database file. My file name is ts output, which we have just created with in library Sharmit1. And if you want to specify any particular member, you can pass it, otherwise simply hit enter. So what this line will do, it will transfer your standard output into the file ts output, which is present in library Sharmit1. Fine. So overriding is done. Now it's time to set the command. So to set the command, you can use chg var, take F4. Here I am providing the variable name as command, which we have already created, and in this variable we are going to store our command. So you can see ls-1. So what it will do, it will list down all the files and directories as we have checked. So that's why previously we checked it on the normal Qshell. So it is a best practice to copy it and check before executing it directly. Okay, we have already completed this step, so I'm just hitting enter. So what this line will do, it will set the command in variable command. Okay. After that, we are just starting the Qshell. So for that, strqsh, you can write strqsh, take F4, provide your variable name. So my case variable name is command, then hit enter. So what it will do, it will start the Qshell for this particular command, and it will execute the command. Then we are deleting the override, and it is also important step because we have start the override, so it's we are supposed to end the override as well. So for that you can write dlt ovr, press F4, then you can pass the file name as a star all. So what it will do, it will delete override for all the files that comes in particular call. Okay, so yeah, that's all about this program. I hope it is clear because it is a straightforward program. We just declared one variable, then we delete the existing file if it is there any. Otherwise, we are creating the physical file. Post that we are starting the override and then setting the command for with in that particular variable. Then we are starting the Qshell, and after that we are just deleting the override. So let's quickly compile this program and see what output we are getting from it. So I'm compiling it and then calling it. So you can see it is called successfully, and then there is no issue even though we have not printed anything. So that's why it is not showing anything. It is just we are just calling it. But if if there was any error, then it would show here at the bottom, but there is no error right now, so that's why it is not showing any issues. Fine. Now what we will do, we will check the output which we have got in our uh, out file. So for that, just write select star from Sharmit1 slash my file name is ts output. Once I hit enter, you can see it is providing me the exact list which I was looking for which I was looking for, right? So now this file we can share with that person who is not comfortable with coding and command. So he can simply write one query, select a star from and this file name, and he can see the data. At the moment we have only this much of data, but it could be more, right? So that's why we are using this process. That's why we are learning about this process to generate the out file for a Qshell command output. Okay, again I'm saying this is very important topic. Maybe right now you are not using it in any of your project, but in future you will for sure going to see these things in your projects. So better to prepare before we are in that situation. Okay, so yeah, I hope this session is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.